everybody. Welcome to the NorthCap University's very first podcast, the NCU Podcast, where the vibes are chill, the laughs are real, and the conversation, well, they are as unpredictable as life itself. I'm your host, Meehu Bhardwaj, a very proud student at the NorthCap University, here to bring you stories, insights, and maybe a little chaos. So, grab your coffee, headphones, or whatever keeps you sane. Because this isn't just a series of podcasts, it's a valuable resource for inspiration or insights that can help you professionally. Before we dive into today's conversation, here's a thought to carry out. Do not let your fears hold you back from achieving your dreams. Well, on that note, I would like to introduce our first guest today. We have with us our esteemed Pro-Chancellor, Professor Prem Vrat, to share his incredible journey and insights with us. Professor Prem Vrat has been an incredible leader in education and engineering. He has also been shaping mind and building institutions for 5 decades. Currently, he is the Pro-Chancellor, Professor of Eminence, and the Chief Mentor at the NorthCap University. Professor Prem Vrat has held top positions at prestigious universities like IIT Roorkee, IIT Delhi, and IIT Dhanbad. Sir has also received countless awards, including Lifetime Achievements, Recognition, and the Great Indian Teacher Award. He has authored several books, guided 50 PhD students, and has published 520 research papers with global impacts. Welcome to the podcast, sir. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm fine.
How is life going on? Is it fun?
He is doing well.
Well, sir, starting off with the fact that you have been in the industry for several decades and you've managed multiple roles as a Pro-Chancellor here, you have been a professor at IIT. Sir, what is something that life has very unexpectedly taught you about leadership or innovation?
Actually, leadership is expected to influence the behavior of people being led. And in that context, leading efficiently and effectively to the desired outcomes and the goals of the organization requires an element of flexibility and adaptability and humility. Because the management of any organization situation is specific. The way you manage and your managerial style depends upon the situation being managed. That's the contingency theory. And therefore, that degree of flexibility to find out a right leadership style to match the situation and the people being led, so that the idea is to achieve your goals effectively and efficiently. And in this context, one of the very simple acronym for giving the kind of a role of a leader, since I worked in my lifetime in IIT system, the acronym is IIT, Inspire, Involve and Transform, which means that a great leader, and therefore in that whole process, simplicity, credibility and trust that a leader carries is of a great importance to have a pronounced impact on the people being led. Because the real success is in transforming the people who are being led. In terms of innovation, these are again the common features are adaptability and humility, of course, is a virtue that everyone should have. But passion to achieve a goal is something which is common to both of these, and therefore, as a result, simplicity, passion to achieve a goal, and particularly in innovation, absolutely an open mind.
Right.
So that you're able to think out of the box, can find out unthinkable solutions to the problems, to find solutions which are cheaper, better, faster and safer. And therefore in that context, simplicity is much more effective than complexity. And that's the way that the two things are in a way intertwined.
Right, and so that is an amazing advice coming from you. But sir, I feel that you just told me about leadership and how it transforms an enterprise. The leader is correct,
Yeah.
right? And a leader usually deals with human force, right?
Yeah.
Like the human management and everything. And I feel when you are dealing with humans, a very key factor that comes into role is empathy. So do you feel that empathy can be really tricky when you're leading and you have to grow the enterprise as well as be empathetic towards the colleagues that you
See, the empathy comes from the concern for others.
Right.
And therefore, there is no contradiction between achieving our goal and being empathetic. The two help each other. And therefore, the power of positive attitude, which combines empathy, concern for others, definitely would enrich the quality of leadership rather than erode it. These are not counter, to each other. They definitely are not antithetic. And obviously, empathy is a very powerful role that a leader should have. Because the moment he shows concern for others, the people being led, the kind of enthusiasm it would generate amongst the people being led would be enormous. And that's what I meant, that seemingly ordinary people will be able to achieve extraordinary results. So it's a very powerful attribute of a great leader, the empathy, which is primarily concern for others.
So we're really grateful that we have a leader like you in our university, in NorthCap. And so now that you have been in NorthCap for so many years, I would love to know your relationship with NCU.
Okay. Now, actually, I joined NCU on September 1st, 2011. At that time, it was called ITM University.
Right.
So I became the Vice Chancellor of then ITM University on 1st of September 2011. During the 3 years I was a Vice Chancellor till I turned 17. It was an exciting journey. ITM itself was known to be the best known private institution in the state of Haryana, because the other universities had not come up. They were, in fact, ITM was amongst the two private universities in Haryana, Jindal and ourselves, almost in that. Therefore, being the Vice Chancellor in the early stage of this university, I took a lot of good initiatives which indeed demonstrated the consistent improvement in the perception and the academic profile of this university. These were in order to encourage faculty to put in their best flexible working hours, which still remains.
Right.
The kind of identifying the dean students listing who actually would be our think tank, and this indeed, so they were able to encourage people to get into the Dean's Committee and to remain there. And there was a very simple, innovative way of encouraging people to academically outperform, and therefore that was Dean's list. The Academic Advisory Board, which indeed has been almost who is who in the country of academics and the industrial world. They are almost like the university court. They meet once in a year. A very powerful think tank for guiding the university, or the Vice Chancellor Innovation Fund, moderation of the results that you see across the based on the IIT Delhi where I work. These are some of the, and the Karmyogi circle. In fact, I try to identify some people who are not driven by the wants. They want to realize in the Maslow's need hierarchy, the highest drive. Those people, I gave them the title of Karmyogi Circle, and they were, enthused to find out solutions to the problems that they come across in the ITM then, and find out solutions to the problems without being told what to do. They're self-driven people, not supervised, so that the best in them came out. These were some of the initiatives that we took. After I turned 70, the governing body members and the founders of this university showed that degree of confidence in me to push me up as Pro-Chancellor, which indeed is a non-statutory, non-executive advisory role. And in that context, I continue to be in that role for almost now 11th year as Pro-Chancellor. And the journey has been very, very exciting. And I'm happy that some of the initiatives that I took then are still in place. But more, in fact, the improvement is a continuous journey, and therefore there are many more initiatives that indeed can be taken. That's the way I look at my association. In fact, after IIT Delhi, where I'm still an honorary professor there, I was director there before I became director at IIT Roorkee. My second longest innings have been in this place. Is nearly 14 years that I've been here, and this shows my affection, love, and the kind of respect and the that I get from the founders of this university. That's something remarkable.
That's that's really incredible, sir, and we're really grateful to have you. So now that you play a very significant role in NorthCap as well as in IIT, what do you think are the three similarities between both the institutions?
Both the institutions which are really good. Their focus is on quality,
Right.
transparency, and the systems and processes, and a kind of an inspiring, encouraging environment.
Right.
Now, indeed, that's what the IT system, which almost symbolizes excellence. The key prerequisites of being an IT-like institution is a visionary leadership, the good quality of people, and the transparent systems and processes are functioning. And I find that in the institution that I led in the IT system, and in NCU, there's such a commonality because people here is one of the most transparent, system-driven, e-governed university, which is absolutely very, very powerful systems and processes, and the kind of passion for quality that the founders have indeed makes it a very exciting place to work in.
100%, sir. Sir, I would love to talk about my age group now. I am soon going to turn 20. And I feel like in today's culture, we are living in a hustle culture. We are living where our every perspective is influenced by social media on daily basis. We don't have a thought of ours. I think we work with the trend. If the trend is this today, all our interests goes that way. And what do you think, or what's your take on the fact that being authentic or being patient when it comes to success and not running is very, like, what's your take on that?
The thing is, there are no shortcuts to life.
Right.
Hard work is the key determinant of success, and therefore, obviously, patience is a basic prerequisite if you want to succeed in life. Because, and that's where the younger generation that you refer to need to inculcate patience, because the generation that we see today, primarily governed by the social media, the influence of technology, and maybe the growing social trends in the society, often tend to have some degree of impatience. There are no shortcuts, there are no quick fixes in life.
Right.
But then one thing we must have for sure, that hard work never goes waste.
That's true.
If the generations know this, that the real solutions to problems is through hard work, sustained perseverance and hard work, and focus on goal passionately, I would make the difference.
I agree, sir, but at the same time, it's so hard because everybody's running and
Right.
everybody seems to know everything. And I feel like, personally, when I am studying BCom honors, I feel like people in my class itself know everything. They know exactly what to do. And I feel so lost that being patient in that moment and taking care of my mental health and focusing on my hard work becomes very difficult. And what's your take, or what's your suggestion to our generation when it comes to mental health?
Actually, mental health is, if you take it positively, it's a good thing.
Right.
And if you take it negatively, it's because of the pressures of the society, peer pressure, competitive pressures, pressure from parents,
Right.
and the kind of cutthroat individualism. This actually reduces the enthusiasm. Indeed, can be a kind of a reducing your capability to perform. I think we have to keep filters in place. We have to shield ourselves from such negative influences through the peer pressure or competitive pressure, because every individual has an outstanding capacity to perform. All that we need to realize is our capacities, our strengths and weaknesses. Everybody is not good in everything. So what's important for you to succeed? Find out what's your passion.
Right.
And I have a very general take in people to succeed in life. That's do the job that you love.
Right.
But till then, love the job that you do.
Wow.
Because everybody may not be lucky to get the job that one loves. But till then, and the moment you start loving a job, whatever job you do, you start loving, you find you truly get into that job and you start performing. And therefore, passion to what you do, irrespective of the nature of the job that you do. And this way I believe that to me, that's what I meant Karmyogi. A Karmyogi, I consider, for example, the people working in our laws, these Malis, to me, they are Karmyogis. The kind of quality of outstanding greenery that they are producing, totally self-driven, unmindful of their compensation packages or promotional opportunities. So if you're a Karmyogi in whatever you do, you're bound to succeed, and the intangible satisfaction that you'll get for doing a job well is much more than any external compensation that you'll have. So that's the way that we need to look at our job. Passionate about whatever we do.
That's true, sir. That really helped me. But nowadays, the passion is in startups. Every single youngster is running behind starting their own enterprise. It just feels like a new, beautiful, place or a goal that everybody wants to run behind. They feel like I cannot work for anybody. I want to be my own boss. And I think that ideology is a bit problematic because how can somebody...
No, in fact, it's problematic if you look at it that I don't want to work for somebody else. I don't want a boss. Because in life, you have to work with everyone.
Right.
Even in a startup, you have to have people. And
Exactly.
therefore, if you look at startup from that I don't want to work for anyone, I don't have, that's a negative way of looking at a startup.
Exactly.
But if you look at a startup as an innovative entrepreneurial idea of generating wealth in a new situation, new idea, and therefore what's important is startups are needed, but then there has to be a balance.
Right.
This narrative that everybody should only have a startup, then who will be managing corporates?
Exactly.
Who will be teaching? Who will be conducting research? And who will be providing services in the government and service sector? Therefore, what you require, what you need is an entrepreneurial mindset.
Right.
So when you say startup, primarily is being an entrepreneurial mindset, you're able to passionately perform whatever you expected to do. So while it's good to have an entrepreneurial mindset, but startups are good for those who enjoy in that role or who have the capacity to take risk,
Mm-hmm.
who have the kind of minds and mindsets, both are needed to take risk, have perhaps the capacity to slog in extensively, single-mindedly in that, and are able to run around, chase people, are willing to take risk, willing to accept failures. Everybody doesn't have that mindset. So while it's good, what I require is that focus on startups and entrepreneurship is good, but it has to be a balanced narrative. The whole country cannot be only having startups.
Right.
Otherwise, how do you get the people? And not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur.
Right. Sir, that you talked about mindset,
Yeah.
and I feel exactly same about it. When you're starting a startup, I think you should have the correct mindset. You should have the correct or a solid product for that matter.
True.
You shouldn't just have the mindset ki, hey, I cannot work for anybody and I'll open my own startup, right? And I think we have the same opinion on that.
Good.
And okay, so a fun question for you, that superpower.
Okay.
Any day, like, to just reduce your work or to help others or even for selfish reasons, what it would be.
Actually, it's an academic question.
Okay.
The superpower only the nature has.
Mhm.
But then if I had that,
It's
I would not aim at reducing my work. I'll aim at creating an inspiring work and environment around the place I work and create a positive vibrations of working in that. And for that, if I can be free from the feeling of going wrong. So therefore, if one such, if even by mistake I do not commit a mistake.
Right.
Suppose I had that kind of supernatural powers, then I won't be worried about the decisions I make, and therefore I am sure that whatever I do would have to be good.
Right.
That even by mistake I do not make a mistake. Perhaps free from any stress I'll be able to create a very inspiring work environment around, but not for reducing work, but enthusing people to achieve greater, free from fear, anxiety, or going wrong. That's something. और ये हमारे इसमें I don't know whether I'm a bit of a spiritual person. तुमने एक जो हमारी क्या होती है कि ऐसी शक्ति हमें दो दाता भूल कर से हमें कोई भूल होना. If I don't know where भूल से भी कोई भूल होना is typically look at what even by mistake I do not commit a mistake. What an enormous environment it creates because you don't worry what happens if I go wrong. Because you know that you will whatever you do will always be right. तो अगर ऐसी मिल जाए शक्ति लेकिन ये ईश्वरी है तो इसीलिए ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करते हैं हम कि भूल से भी कोई भूल होना.
जी sir. Sir, you just mentioned spirituality. I come from a background where my grandparents, in fact my parents are very spiritual. Since I've been born, I think I've been told to be spiritual. I've been told to, sit down and pray. And I think now and slowly and sturdily as I'm growing up and coming to my 20s, I've realized that at the end of the day, it's that power that, it means the world, I think. And you should just sit down and just concentrate on that. And I think talking about today's generation, how do you think that spirituality can help youngsters manage their stress or manage or balance it out?
Very true. Actually, spirituality almost become an enabler to performance. Because conventionally we used to talk about IQ, intelligence quotient.
Right.
Then they add on to was the emotional quotient. And now the third one is SQ, spirituality quotient. Because when you look at your quality of people that we have, there are three elements in a great quality people. The positive attitude, the relevant knowledge, domain knowledge of the subject, and the skill to apply that knowledge to solve the problems of the society. But the key success factor is positive attitude. Now, positive attitude, where empathy, concern for others, integrity, all these come from spirituality. So, spirituality helps you to show compassion, understanding, empathy. Concern for others would also mean that you will be punctual. Because when you are punctual, it means you respect the time of others.
Right.
So only when you show concern. So positive attitude definitely forms a very powerful role of being an employable person. And that's why many times the employers look at more on your attitude rather than knowledge and skill. In fact, there is a company that I came across which says we hire 85% focus on attitude and train you for the skills and knowledge.
Yes.
In any case, knowledge is expanding very fast. So therefore, spirituality gives you that power of positive attitude, which indeed is a very powerful, critical success factor in succeeding in life, irrespective of whatever you do. Very powerful thing. And that's why IQ, EQ and SQ together make a very powerful contribution to improve the quality of people. Because I believe that unless we improve the quality of people, there is no way we can improve the quality of products and services.
Right.
Quality of people that we have is a prerequisite for improving quality of products and services. And IQ, EQ, SQ play a very vital role in developing a positive attitude.
Right. And so positive attitude is something that our parents have been teaching us since forever. And I hope and in fact even teaching myself that there is so overwhelming information out there, even about food. I think everything is negative, and I feel that we should focus on the positives and the negatives. It will help us grow.
True.
And even everybody who's watching us focuses on positive, and I hope they are in a positive mindset. Talking about the change in the world, my father says one thing, and he has said this since I was very young, that the only permanent thing in this universe is change. And you have been in the industry for so long, sir. And I think generations to generations, everything has changed. I think since when you started to now, things are so different.
Yeah, true.
So what do you think that one should do to adapt the change?
Actually, if the change is inevitable, in fact, not your father says change is constant. Gita says so. परिवर्तन संसार का नियम है. And therefore, once you take as a natural consequences of being,
Right.
what you require is an attitude to prepare yourself to accept the change, and the change has to be. In fact, there's a very powerful way of looking at change. And I quote Dale Carnegie, a very powerful influencer. It says, "God grant me the serenity to accept the change, the things I cannot change, but the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." And therefore, changing for the sake of change is also not good.
Right.
But accepting a change and finding out which change would be in the interest of the society, and which change will actually not be in the interest of society. So accepting change, adapting it, and having a flexibility and resilience to use that change. And one way to look at the changes is an opportunity.
Right.
A negative way is a constraint. A positive way is it becomes an opportunity to do something which you did not dream earlier.
Right.
And therefore change is inevitable, and that's why our generations, when I studied in IIT Kharagpur nearly more than 60 years back, many things that we studied then are no longer relevant. So all through my life I've been adapting myself to the changing situations. We used to start teaching chalk and talk, and look at now the kind of PPTs and even beyond that we are doing, LMS systems. So adapting constantly to change is a very powerful personality trait that we all must have. And this requires flexibility, adaptability, and taking change as an opportunity to improve. It's given instead of cribbing about change.
Yeah, that's true, sir. And I feel that, again, as you said, that change, see it like an opportunity. And so, having said that, as you said about the education system, so I feel that if we look at the US or around the world, the education system has changed drastically. And I think India is still lacking behind a bit, because we still study NCERTs. We are still, mugging up question and answers and all of those things. So what's your take on that?
No, actually, what you're saying that, the Western world, and that's really not a differentiator. What is important, the manner in which we are imparting education.
Right.
So the way we conduct examination, the way we teach teaching, and that's why I said that involve, inspire, and transform. That a teacher is a leader too, influencing the behavior of people, students. Therefore, as a result, involvement of the students in the class and inspiring them to ask intelligent questions, and therefore the way we inculcate the processes in educational focuses on learning, not on teaching. Focus is not on examination. So these are, they have nothing to do with the East or West on it.
Right.
And I'm sure that our conventional ancient education system, which we had discarded in preference to the Western mode, to some extent has done more damage in leading to quick results in a marks-oriented, mugging-oriented. That's not really teaching learning processes. These are, to my mind, the dysfunctional aspect of the teaching learning process. But if we look at teaching learning as a continuous process with an open mind, create a learning, make learning as fun.
Right.
The way we examine people will determine the way they learn. So if we only ask a structured, stereotyped questions which people would mug up and give answers, that's a wrong way of setting question paper. That's a wrong way of teaching. And therefore, as a result, take teaching as an opportunity to broaden the horizon of the people, and as a result to make them good human being first before they make them good managers or engineers. And that's why the kind of pedagogy that we are involved, the kind of and that to that extent I believe that perhaps overdoing technological interference in the teaching learning process, underplaying the role of a teacher, has done more damage to the teaching learning processes, where we believe that only through PPTs, only through LMS, or through automation we are able to do that. To me, there is no substitute of a great inspirational teacher. And technology can only enable him to improve his academic productivity, but there is absolutely no substitute. And therefore, overdoing technological involvement, replacing the human values of a teacher, because the presence of a great inspiring teacher in the classroom itself does magic.
Right.
and no technology can replace it. So therefore, there has to be a balanced way of looking. Blindly copying the Western world is not an answer, because if you ask people in the Western world, I've been to various countries, everybody say the same thing about the teaching learning processes.
Right.
And therefore, as a result, to me, take this as an opportunity to inculcate younger generations. And you've been using the word, that I've been working in teaching industry. I hate to use the word industry for academic institution, because to me, academic educational institutions are a component of nation building process. Teachers are not employees. They're an important building block in the nation building process, because we create people who are great human beings or great citizens who indeed will be important building blocks in the nation building process. And if that be the goal, we create an environment where that happens.
Right.
Instead of grade oriented, mugging oriented, result oriented, marks oriented, that creates cutthroat individualism in people. So the way we organize our teaching learning process is extremely important, and East and West has, in fact, doesn't have much to do with it. And all Western educational system again is not great.
Yes.
Absolutely
Agreed.
not great.
So, and in fact, I feel I say one thing, that I don't remember the chapters, but I remember my teachers.
Yeah,
And
true.
they had made such significant impact in my life.
Absolutely.
I still remember their teaching styles and
Yeah,
everything.
true.
And you know how in today's generation doesn't even consider being professors, or doesn't even consider being teaching, or
Yeah, true.
going in that
True.
industry at all, or
True.
going for academics, because they feel that it's for no use, because now we have technology, and whatever the students can just search it up. We don't have to teach them, and they don't understand the value or the essence of a teacher, and making that impact on the student's life. So what do you think, that how should today's generation also consider being teaching?
Actually, it's a pity that in the society the teaching profession is seen with that degree of being the last resort.
Right.
I must tell you that, and this is contained in my booklet in IIT Kharagpur. All I had in life was, my passion was to be a lecturer in IIT Delhi.
Wow.
And I had a job in industry. I was a top ranker in IIT Kharagpur. I had a job in industry which was paying me twice as much as IIT Delhi would have paid me. But I knew where my skill sets would lie.
Right.
And I had that conviction to ignore and decline that job and prefer a teaching job in IIT Delhi. And I'm now in my 57th year of teaching there. I'm still an honorary professor. I never looked back. Therefore, it's a pity that society has created this misperception that the teaching profession, to my mind, teaching profession is the most difficult profession, is not everybody's cup of tea. For example, let me look at the skill set of a great teacher. An academic brilliance, an inspirational communication skill, and the role model value system. To find all the three things in the same person is almost a rare phenomenon.
Right.
And therefore, if the society had given a degree of respect to this profession, the best and the brightest of the society would join this as a first love. And only best in them will come out then.
Right.
So it's a pity that the social structure in the society has underplayed the role of academicians in shaping the value system and nurturing the young minds towards a nation building process, and given greater attention to money, perks, and the material benefits at the cost of this. To me, if I'm to be reborn again, I'd love to be a teacher. That's the way passionate. You have to be passionate about what you do, and that's why I said, do what you love.
Right.
And that's what I have been doing all through my life. I can speak even at this age. I'm running to 80s. I can speak hours because I love doing that, and therefore, to me, interacting with you is not a stress on me. In fact, it is stress reliever. To me, therefore, be passionate about whatever you do.
So that's absolutely beautiful, and I feel that, and even the thing that you said about passion, about teaching, and I think people have started manifesting it a lot nowadays. like their future career or their future positions they want to hold or their companies that they want to work in. Like I manifest also, like I've started manifesting this year. I don't put pictures and everything, but of course you make a to-do list of goals that you want to achieve in your lifetime. And so do you believe in manifesting? Like, did you manifest being a professor all your life?
Keeping a record of goals and the journey that I'm doing, and tracking of the achievement of the objectives that I have, in that sense it's good.
No, so manifesting is basically when you picture yourself in a position that you want to be in.
Yeah, obviously that's something visualizing.
Yeah, visualizing.
Envisioning.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. And this you do in any profession. For example, when I joined IT Delhi as a lecturer in August 1968, I in fact constantly envisioned that I'd like to be an outstanding teacher first, and gradually life unfolded. I held every possible position at IT Delhi, then became the founder director of IT Roorkee, then became a vice chancellor of UP Technical University Lucknow before coming here. So therefore, envisioning the future is a part of life.
Right.
And therefore, but then even then, simply envisioning will not do.
Right.
Having a dashboard.
Right.
Having a goal. For example, what you need to do first, have set smart objectives. Smart objectives or a smart goal. Unless your goal in life, you won't know where are you going.
Right.
And the problem when you say people do career changes, moving at least 5-6 careers in life, perhaps indicates that there is no consistency of purpose. To me, if you love some profession, as I do, for example, love teaching and research, I do not see a career beyond this. But even here I envision, but I have my SMART goals. SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. So this year I would like to achieve so many publications. I would like to achieve, teach these subjects. I want to publish those papers. I want to do so much consulting. So having SMART objectives or SMART goals is important as a dashboard.
Right.
And if you call that as a manifestation, it's good. But putting hard work to achieve them and constantly monitoring your journey and taking an action in case there are gaps between after. That's what managerial control is, to know what you were expected to do and what you actually achieved and take a corrective action. So in that context, having dashboard as a manifestation of your goal and the journey in which you're going is good. But then simply having a goal without doing much work. So the key word is hard work.
Right. So manifesting is
hard work, and then simply manifesting without hard work is nothing.
Right. So manifesting is not the only
by itself is not anything.
Right.
The hard work is the key. Absolutely true.
In fact, I was talking to my mother the other day and I was telling her about this new trend about manifesting, and she's like, what's the use of this when you're not going to work hard for it? Because I was just
your mother's right. Absolutely true. Simply manifesting without hard work would lead to frustration eventually.
Right, 100%. So I would love to know, so there are a lot of skills that are going on right now, be it soft skills, hard skills, in fact, everybody is like, hey, you cannot just focus on your degree, you have to have certain skill set with you, because that's going to have an X factor in you, right? So what do you think are the, skills that one should have?
No, actually it's unfortunate that people have varying perception about skill. To me, skill is an integral part of teaching learning process. And that's why I said, in fact, I developed a model of employability, which if E is employability, is A is attitude multiplied by alpha times knowledge plus 1 minus alpha times skill, where knowledge and skill, alpha tells you the importance you give it in knowledge. To me, all the three are an integral part of teaching learning process. And therefore, knowledge is what we gain in the classroom, in the labs. Skill is the capacity to use that knowledge to solve the problems of society.
Right.
Multiplied with the attitude, if you do it with a positive attitude. So to me, developing positive attitude, making you knowledgeable and skilled is an integral part of holistic education. Segregating knowledge from skill is not a fair thing. And when you talk of skill, both hard skills and soft skill are integral part of, because hard skill is your skill, for example, in writing a good program. Is your skill in writing a program. to a given situation. Soft skill is dealing with people, teamwork, compassion, understanding, integrity. So therefore, all are required, hard and soft, together with knowledge. And again, knowledge is not simply information gathering. There is a hierarchy of information leading to knowledge leading to wisdom.
Right.
And therefore, much of our educational system is data driven. To me, data is the most, lowest level of data should lead to information. Information should lead to knowledge, and knowledge should lead to wisdom. And what makes a wisdom is knowledge multiplied by positive attitude, mind multiplied with mindset. And only when we have matching mindsets to our brilliant minds that we are able to create, a great people. So therefore, to me, a proper education would integrate all the three things together. And it's perhaps a false notion that there's someone needs to be separately skilled. Proper education would incorporate skills, both hard and soft.
Right.
Knowledge, information, knowledge and wisdom, hold by the positive attitude. And this is what I call holistic education.
100%.
Absolutely. So it's vital. But skills is what people require, because if you're only knowledgeable but you're unable to solve the problems of the society, then you are not employable. And therefore, to me, these are integral part of teaching learning process.
100%. And so, could you just list down 3 skills that one should have or must have? Like anything.
Okay. As I said, 3 skills.
Right.
For example, integrity,
Okay.
empathy, and punctuality.
Right. Well, because in today's world, I think that being punctual and all of those things, even for classes, like we have to punch before like 8:40, right? The punch starts from 8:30. And I think a lot of students face such an issue in just punching, coming exactly at 8:30 for the class. And
when I said punctuality, I'm not mixing with punching.
Right, I know.
Punctuality is a part of the value system.
Right.
It's part of a quality. That means, you see, what is punctuality? Suppose your interview was to begin at 11 and you are there at 11.
Right.
In fact, what is quality? Quality is conforming to requirements.
Right.
And if you conform to the requirements, you are a quality-driven person. And the lowest lesson in quality is if you can't even meet a time schedule, because time is the easiest thing to manage. And if you cannot manage time, there's something, you cannot manage anything more complex. So I see punctuality in that context. When you are punctual, you are respecting others' time.
Right.
When there are 100 people waiting for you to come and you're 10 minutes late, that means you do not care for others. And since I look at punctuality from that perspective, and if you're punctual, you don't need punching.
Right, 100%. That's exactly. I mean, we find that even hard, and I think we should inculcate punctuality in our values.
True.
And so you have been working hard all your life, and you have been manifesting, and you are the true inspiration, I think, who has been working hard since forever. And now there's this controversy that's going on, which is called 90-hour work week. You know about it?
Yes, it's true.
So what is your take on that?
Actually, if I have to be very polite, I'll call it ridiculous.
Right, agreed.
It's and ridiculous coming from a person at that level.
Right.
Because what you're doing, you have to be outcome driven. I can spend all the time sitting here doing nothing. To me, therefore, over insistence on time and not the effectiveness, the efficiency with which you're doing. To me, therefore, your real objective in life should be efficiency and effectiveness. The two are not the same thing. Efficiency deals with how, with minimum time you're able to achieve maximum output.
Right.
That's efficiency. And effectiveness is to what extent you're goal oriented, are able to accomplish your goal. And if that happens, time becomes immaterial. And secondly, if you're passionate about your job, you don't worry about time. So if people are passionate, for example, when I'm passionate about teaching and research, even while I'm traveling, I'm thinking about the ideas. So you may be engaged in your job, maybe 24/7, but it's ridiculous to spend 90 hours and clock in, punch 90 hours and do nothing.
Right.
And therefore, when you talk of work-life balance, to my mind, that statement has done enormous damage to the organization, which is a great organization.
Oh.
Larsen and Tubro is known to be very outstanding. I have my classmate who retired as executive director HR from L&T and is my WhatsApp group.
Oh.
Because to me, time is only an input. And input orientation, how much, if I do same work in 90 hours, if I can do same work in 30 hours, why not 30 hours?
Right.
So therefore, it's a very, maybe he made it in a lighter moment and people picked up. There's the power of social media. He might not have meant it. And that to my mind, time is particularly in the kind of profession I am. And that's why with that spirit I started flexible working hours here. Because a university, let me tell you, in my lifetime I never punched or signed any attendance. Never. IIT system doesn't have any attendance for faculty. MDI where I worked, IIMs don't have it. Here I never did. But I spend more time here.
Right.
Therefore, to me, when you are compelled to spend time, then you are simply spending time.
Right.
And spending time by itself is not adequate to it is what you get. Therefore, our entire orientation should be, what is it that I have accomplished? And therefore, to me, outcome orientation and creating an environment where you enjoy working beyond working hours.
Right.
Therefore, to me, simply spending 90 hours a week by itself is a very ridiculous objective.
100%. And even the fact about work-life balance, I was recently listening to this podcast again, and in that podcast, one said that work-life balance is a very neutral thinking. I think when you are passionate about something, you don't think about that.
That's what I give you. In fact, let me tell you that I used one of the whole mantra for my leadership style. In fact, when I became the founder director of IIT Roorkee, it was a major challenge. Of course, a great honor to an oldest reputed university being the first director of an IIT.
Right.
And since IIT spell excellence, the role of transformation and therefore that transformational role of converting a university into an IIT, a state university into a state-of-the-art university that IITs are, I use the word a very powerful motivational equation. I don't know, since you are in commerce, you might not have. There's a very famous Einsteinian equation known as E is equal to mc square.
Oh, yes.
Very famous equation is,
yes.
Which indeed in Einsteinian equation is energy, m is mass, c is the velocity of light. I use that equation primarily for a brand value for marketing purposes. But in my equation, E is excellence, M is motivation, and C is commitment. So I use that equation in transforming the University of Roorkee. Every 6 months, I'll address the students, faculty, employees. I believe all the three must be taken care of. You can't segregate only address faculty, ignore employees and students. All are important stakeholders and the human people. To me, efficiency, excellence is motivation, commitment square. Now, since IITs spell excellence, and excellence can be in whatever you do, not only IITs, IIT-like institutions. Motivation is what you do. Commitment is how well you do that. Now, look at what this equation is going to emphasize. Suppose you do as a corollary of this. If suppose you are doing a job half-heartedly, commitment is literally 0.5,
right,
because you're doing half-heartedly.
Right.
E becomes 1/4. But if you have the passion and zeal to do it, doubly enthused in doing what you're doing, C becomes 2. E becomes 4. And the corollary says excellence and indifference can't coexist. If you're indifferent about doing what you're doing, even if you spend 90 hours a week, you spend those 90 hours with an indifference, there's no way you can get excellence. To me, therefore, if you're committed to something, committed. So to me, creating an environment where you're committed to excellence, and you'll be committed to excellence if you love doing what you're doing, that these things become superfluous. How much time you spend, we punch in time or go in time. To me, these are input-oriented initiatives and may not necessarily achieve the desired outcome. But don't do anything half-heartedly. To me, even if you spend 90 hours but do a job half-heartedly, there's no way you can achieve excellence. Because therefore the corollary is be passionate about what you do.
Right.
And if you're passionate and doubly enthused, irrespective of whether people recognize you or not, because in Maslow's need hierarchy context, the intrinsic satisfaction of having done a job well by itself supersedes any other extrinsic rewards. We need to create that environment.
it's a passion over everything, I feel.
Absolutely. Passionate. And if you're passionate about everything, in whatever you do, nothing, you don't get tired. I don't get tired at the end of the day.
Right.
I take my classes 9 to Delhi, 5 to 6 in the evening. Normally people feel tired, travel from where?
Right.
Because I enjoy doing that even now. So enjoy what you do, but preferably do what you enjoy. Let it
That's
be
perfect.
startup, let it be teaching, let it be marketing. If you do something that you enjoy, everything else becomes secondary, and be passionate about it. That's it. So do what you enjoy and be passionate about it. And the two go hand in hand. If you do something that you enjoy, you tend to be passionate about it. That's a simple mantra of success.
So I'm actually very curious, sir, that what if you did not end up taking up teaching as your career path?
Yeah.
What would have been the 3 other paths or 3 other career goals that you would have?
No, there was no other way. In fact, I was so passionate about teaching and research. Because the moment you think of alternative, as I told you, even next birth, if God gives me, but I'll teach in good institutions. I was very clear, I'll teach in IIT, Delhi.
Right.
Delhi, because I'm close, I live in Greater Noida. My parents, I was born in Greater Noida area. So close, IIT Kharagpur was offering me a position. Because I knew what is important for the younger generation to know, every job is not everybody's cup of tea.
Right.
Therefore, match your skill sets with the job profile.
Right.
And if your skill sets match with the job profile, you're bound to succeed. Yes. But if there's a mismatch in your skill sets and the job profile, for example, if a person who with great difficulty managed to get through, maybe sometimes by copying the examination,
right.
And if it takes up to teaching and research as a career option, nothing could be worse than that for him. Right. The poor chap would suffer throughout his life. He'll have stress in going to the class and facing the students, and therefore do what you enjoy doing. To my mind, choosing a career option where your skill sets match with the job profile, and if you're able to do that matching, you're bound to succeed. If this is a mismatch, you're bound to fail. Therefore, there are and all careers are required. To see that, imagine if there were, in fact, imagine if teachers were not there. And today's society, everybody wants to have their child admitted to a good college or a good university, but they don't want their child to teach.
Right.
Now, this predicament or dichotomy, unless you have the great and the, I might take it, unless the best and the brightest of the society join teaching and research a first love.
Right.
So society should create that environment.
Yes.
And fortunately, I can tell you, the kind of respect I have got in the society, the kind of my students, till date, they achieve great heights globally. The amount of love and respect I get, no amount of financial compensation can match that. So the moment we look at our job from that perspective, every job is good, but match your skill sets and be passionate about it.
And I hope after listening to you and to all the listeners, in fact, and me including, teaching is now going to be a more focused career path. I think at least something where students are also interested in going. So the new thing I'm passionate about, not a new, but of course for a year, I've been reading a lot of fictional books. And I think fictional books.
Fictional books, okay.
Yes, and this year it's my resolution to read self-help books. And I want you to give us some 3 top recommendations.
Okay. And self-help books is perhaps required irrespective of what you do.
Right.
Irrespective of whether commerce or BTech. There are 3 books which indeed I have primarily for shaping your attitude and passion. One is that the power of positive thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. Very powerful, because as I said, positive thinking. If your problems are part of life, every problem has a solution, provided you approach that problem with a positive mind.
Right.
And therefore, if you're part of the solution, then you're sought after. Therefore, with negative attitude, you'll find a problem with every solution offered.
Right.
As a result, inculcating positive mind, The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. The second very powerful book, very popular, The 7 Habits of Most Effective People by Stephen Covey.
Yes.
And third one, very classical. I mean, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Right. Many of the quotes that you see, where I quoted that, God grant me the serenity to accept the change, things I cannot change, the courage to change. I read from there. Or similarly, when you compare with others, when you compare with someone else, someone higher, better than you, you feel bad. It says, I was sore, I didn't have shoes till I came across a man who didn't have legs. The moment you look at people who are much more in adverse conditions, you'll have a more positive attitude in what you do. So these 3 books have been very powerful, the life skills, right, if you call it. And this I thought, of course, there are many more. Mm-hmm. It's almost a large number. But these 3 I think came across are very powerful. Absolutely.
So, sir, this is the last segment of our podcast where I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions. So it's going to be either a choice question or either one word answer. So are you an early bird or a night owl?
Early bird or?
A night owl.
I'm an early bird.
Okay. So would you rather live in a world where there is no music or no movies at all?
No.
Like, which one would you choose? A world without movies or a world without music?
The world with music.
So you love music?
Absolutely.
Which
music is
excellent.
Like
which music do you like?
Indian Hindi.
Kishore Kumar.
Absolutely. I am very clear. I'm on my roots.
What would you rather have? Like, ultimately rather have ice creams or a lot of pizzas? Like, are you a sweet tooth or something?
Yeah, ice cream. I love vanilla. Even when I have cold, I'll take vanilla.
Oh, wow.
And you see, weakness is something that you do, although you shouldn't do that. Mm. So, vanilla ice cream is my weakness.
I love chocolate ice cream. So, what is your...
Vanilla, because I believe simplicity is my one.
So, what is your all-time favorite movie?
I don't see many movies.
Okay.
But then all-time favorite movie is Gandhi.
Gandhi. And what is your all-time favorite song?
With?
All-time favorite song.
Oh, very many. It will be difficult to identify one.
Okay.
But I actually every day in the morning, I believe in spiritual songs that come, the artis and everything. Oh. My day begins with that. So there's an element of meditation that I have, a spirituality component. So I begin my journey with spiritual songs and bhajans.
So would you rather have all the strength in the world or intelligence?
Actually, intelligence, these are two unrelated issues. You can have strength as well as intelligence.
Right.
But if you have strength without intelligence, they're disastrous.
That's true.
Strength without intelligence is disastrous.
100%, sir. Sir, do you like beaches or mountains?
Beaches?
Or mountains?
Preferably mountains.
Right. So, what is your all-time favorite vacation destination?
I don't take vacations.
You don't?
You'll be surprised to know that. To me, work is vacation.
Wow.
I have not taken, for example, 38 years I taught in IIT Delhi. I did not take a single day's medical leave. I did not avail, in fact, all my earned leave were accumulated 10 months. They were all, because I loved, my work is my passion, my vacation.
Wow.
That's the way that I look at my life. Here also, for example, the governing, my daughter lives in US. Mm-hmm. They were kind enough to give me 1 month's vacation every year. Oh. For the last 11 years, I have not availed a single day's vacation. That means for these 11 months, I could have availed them.
Right.
But that's where the passion matters.
Wow. That's really surprising.
To me, my work is my vacation.
That's beautiful.
Because let's look at rationally. You see, look at vacation for a change from whatever, because you're bored with what you're doing. So let's have a change. I'm not bored in whatever I do.
I hope I find that passion in my life, where my work is my vacation.
Absolutely. And it's written, in fact, there's an academic Insight magazine from Bangalore. Mm-hmm. In last December, they brought out a special issue, 25 most inspiring educational leaders of 2024. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, finds a place in it. and my interview is published in that. I mean, I'll give you a copy if you don't. I think I'll like it.
Yeah, sure.
They asked me the same question.
Oh.
What is your hobby? I said, my work is my hobby. So therefore, my work is my hobby. Absolutely. I enjoy doing it. After all, what is hobby? Anything that you enjoy doing. I enjoy my work.
Right. It was great having a conversation.
And I am not apologetic in saying so that I don't avail vacation. I enjoy this. Absolutely.
Well, I hope you keep enjoying your vacations.
That's it. I only hope that I keep good health
Right.
and contribute to the society as long as my health permits. That's my only
really hope
goal in
that.
life. That's it.
Serve us all the, that you have been working hard for and everything, and stay with us forever. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you indeed.
It was a great time, and I'm glad you joined us today as our first guest for this series of podcasts. And personally, it is the best opportunity to have a conversation with you like this.
Thank you.
Truly means the
Thank
word,
you.
sir.
Thank you.